And then now we are the number one consumer of marshmallows in the entire world, the United States.
Well, we're fat, so
Yeah, I believe
And
it.
we like marshmallows. 90 million pounds a year.
and they weigh nothing.
And they weigh nothing. So that's
Oh my
a
God.
shit ton of marshmallows.
Yeah.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
Let's get crispy, baby.
Oh, boy.
He's been practicing that.
Yeah,
It's been 2 weeks he's been practicing that.
all the way back.
So, Dolan was in Chicago. Why were you in Chicago, Dolan?
1 year anniversary.
Oh, a romantic trip.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks.
Have
You say
breweries.
someplace nice? Or...
Yeah, we got a...
And the Marriott is not nice, let's be honest.
No. We stayed in, it's actually a newer hotel right off North Michigan, right there downtown by the Riverwalk, called Hotel Julian.
Oh,
Sounds cool.
all
Yeah.
right.
Not the best Western I stayed at in Chicago one time.
My apologies
Midway.
to Marriott. I'm very loyal to Marriott. You fancy, but not 1 year anniversary fancy. How's that?
Not boutique hotel fancy.
No, right.
Yeah.
Great night stay.
But while he was there, he was texting both of us.
Yes.
Asking where I should go or
Yeah.
where he should go. Right.
Yeah.
And this was definitely one of them. So I'm excited that you made it down to Maplewood Brewing Company, 2717 North Maplewood Avenue in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because we've had beers from here before.
Well, I haven't.
Oh, I have.
We've had them, not on the show, I
No.
don't think, but we've snuck a couple in the office before.
It's only 15 minutes from Wrigley Field.
Oh, okay.
So the Cubs fans in the office have been to Maplewood
Yeah,
a
I've never
number
been
of
there.
times.
It's a pretty cool location.
Tell us about it.
Well,
Because I haven't been to a brewery other than the one right by my house since February, so I'm jonesing.
well, I'll tell you this. Right before Maplewood, we were at Revolution.
Oh, okay. I know that one too.
Yeah, and we got an Uber down there.
Sure.
And the Uber kind of went around the corner, and it was going through this like residential area. And at the very end of the street of this residential area was the brewery at a dead end. Yeah, so it was kind of like whoever lives in those houses that are like right next door to the brewery, lucky people.
They need to go to a meeting, probably now.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is in Lincoln at White Elm.
Yes.
It's like right in the middle of the neighborhood at the end of the last street. And
Yep.
Like you can't get, you have to kind of know where you're going to find that one.
But that's the feel. As I kind of did my research on these guys, that's kind of the feel they were going for. Was neighborhood bar kind of thing, right? I mean, that was, and they're a distillery as well, so they do both beer and
This place here?
spirits. Yes.
Oh, okay. So they had their own like
Yeah,
whiskey and
yes.
vodka and stuff.
They did have their own distillery, and they make a bunch of different cocktails with their liquor.
Do they can them? Do they have their own canned cocktails
I don't know.
I don't think so.
like Boulevard does now?
Well, there was a lot of COVID restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually a lot of the way that they were serving was like to make sure that not a lot of hands were on your drinks.
Right.
And in fact, they actually didn't do a lot of the selling of their drinks.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
They just wanted to pull the tapper or shoot you in the face with the hose of booze. That's cool.
Yep, pretty much. It was actually, they had a really good system. Like you go in, they sit you down. Chicago's doing this thing right now where they take your name and phone number so they can kind of
Track you.
see where you're going.
Contact tracing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they did that, and then they just explained, the QR code on the table was the beer menu and the cocktail menu, which both of our phones died.
Oh,
so,
great.
Oh.
So we had to request a paper menu. They were
You heard
they
those
were
guys.
Yeah, they had to print it out for us and everything. So that was nice. And then how you did it was you ordered, and then they would pour it or make you the drink, whatever you ordered, and they left it on the bar counter for you to get up and grab yourself. So it was and the whole counter had plexiglass across the thing, and they would put the drink underneath, and they would yell out the drink, and you just
You go get it.
go get it.
Yo, Juice Pants,
Yeah.
because that's their IPA.
That's right.
Yeah,
Actually, that's their double IPA, I think.
which I found out they only do quarterly.
So that's the one that we've had before.
I did see one on the website that sounded great.
Okay.
It was the Juice Jorts, which I think is a pale ale or something, or a session. But yeah, who doesn't love jorts?
That was Corey Anderson, recruiter at Atlas here, has been to this brewery a number of times. Was the one that first brought us Juice Pants.
Yeah.
And then Son of Juice, and I believe he had Juice Jorts when he was there.
He seems like a guy that would have jorts.
Yes.
So the guy there also told me that Juice Pants is or Son of Juice is their flagship beer,
Okay.
right? Which we all had a growler of. It's great.
Oh,
it's a good one.
Great.
And then Juice Pants is just the stronger version of it.
Yep, that sounds good.
I thought it was the double. It's not the double?
I mean, it
just-
might be. It might be an Imperial IPA.
Maybe.
Not 100% sure. I just know that he said it's the stronger, hoppier version of Son of Juice.
That sounds like a double.
So we decided to do this one because we've had Juice Pants, we've had Son of Juice, we've heard of Juice Jorts now.
Yeah.
This one is called, and this is interesting, it's called Krispie Cakes Pastry Case Ale.
Yeah.
Now, what is the pastry case? What is this? Was there like a case there? Like what? I mean, they make it seem like it's a bakery, but then the beers appear instead of the
I am
pastries.
glad you asked this. Dolan, do you have answers?
I do not.
Oh boy. Well, guess what? I do.
You have the answers.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay,
It's a series. Let's get before we get in this. I'm thirsty.
It smells like a birthday cake.
It smells like
what
marshmallows.
The heck is this?
Wow.
Yes, like vanilla marshmallow.
It says brewed with rice and vanilla. So
Okay. Krispie Cakes.
That is unbelievably delicious.
It tastes like the milk from the Rice Krispies Treats cereal.
Yes.
If you ever had that,
What in the hell?
it tastes like Rice Krispies.
that's why it's called Krispie Cakes, y'all. Here's what I'm going to tell you about. This is their pastry whatever series.
Yeah.
So a lot of places we've heard of pastry stouts, maybe even pastry sours. These are just different kinds of beers that they make. So here's one of the lists I found online. Krispie Cakes is the third in the series. There was Upside Down Cakes.
Oh.
Then there was Grammy Cakes, so like graham crackers.
Okay.
Okay.
Then there's Krispie Cakes, which is like a Rice Krispie treat. Crumble Cakes, White Chunk Macadamia, so like that's normally a cookie, but they made that into a cake. And then Carrot Cakes, which I would definitely drink again. Oh, look at that, a little bit more in there.
The can's right by me.
I mean, that's a bad spot, Dolan.
The upside down cakes.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Upside down cake is what I
Like
request.
pineapple, right?
Could you imagine pineapple in this?
Yeah, it'd be great.
That's what I request every year for my birthday is a pineapple upside down.
There you go.
It's the best.
This one is 6.7%. Most of them that I could see on there were around that level.
Yep.
Pretty low. I think it was like 20 IBUs or something, but
My gosh.
yeah, this thing, the aroma is amazing.
Here's the thing, like, I think we have different enough tastes between Brian to me to Dolan. To, Brian's beer palate has been around for much longer than mine has. Dolan's only been able to drink alcohol for a couple of years now.
Right, yeah.
Legally.
So legally,
That's true.
it's crazy that we get these beers and they're so good, and then we gush about them.
Yeah.
Like it's this. There's no way to explain what this is.
We're spoiled, that's for sure.
I guess. But Dolan didn't even know what this was. He brought it into
I thought it was going to be dark, to be honest, until I gave one to Aaron Daly, the guy behind the Atlas website, and handed it to him. I was like, I don't know, sounds great. Krispie Cakes, it might be a really good, I don't know, porter stout kind of thing. And he read it and he says, well, it says ale, so it's probably light.
So
Mm-hmm.
and I was
not
like,
a stout, yeah.
honestly, I didn't even look at what kind of beer it was. I just bought it off of the name.
Yeah. I mean, there's a spatula on the can. And there's some mixing bowls on there.
There's a cake on the back.
There you go, from what I can see. Yeah, Maplewood.
Wow.
So, as you can guess, we're going to Rice Krispie Town.
Okay.
Rice Krispies first came out by Kellogg's
Snack, Crackle, Pop.
1928.
Okay.
That's the first time it hits the market. So almost 100 years now.
Wow.
And it was just rice cereal. That's all it is. Little rice pieces, basically.
Sure.
And people started noticing that when they poured milk on it, it was making a sound, which you've heard. So it would take them 4 years to basically capitalize on this, right? And they
4 years.
to finally say, man, we need to do something with this because it's, cornflakes doesn't do this.
No.
And I don't know what other cereals would have been around back then. Cheerios, maybe? I don't know. Interesting fact on the cornflakes, though. You know about cornflakes? Mm-hmm. You know why it was created?
No.
So the guy that's Kellogg's, the guy that owns the cereal company, he was like, I don't know if religious fanatic is the term, but he was not a fan of fellers, you know what I'm saying.
Did you say fellers?
Yeah, fellers.
Okay.
Pulling the pud or punching the clown. Or
He
did not. That was something that was a bad thing to do back then, 100-something years ago.
Understood. Punching the clown?
Yeah.
Okay.
So cornflakes was supposed to like knock your libido down, so you wouldn't really feel the need to.
What?
Yeah, tickle the taffy.
Tug the boat? And
Right. All those things.
Okay.
Weird.
So anyway, that's his deal.
What?
And this is another cereal from Kellogg's, but it's Rice Krispies. So in 1932, this is the advertisement that they came up with. I think this was in England. And so I wrote it down and I'll read it to you. It just says, listen to the fairy song of health, the merry chorus sung by Kellogg's Rice Krispies as they merrily snap, crackle, and pop in a bowl of milk. If you've never heard food talking, now is your chance. 1932. That premiered on a radio show by some lady named Irene Wicker, and it was called The Singing Lady. And it was basically the first children's program ever. So think like Mr. Rogers, or if you had local ones like Romper Room when I was a kid, like that sort of stuff. So this was like, there was no TV, so kids are listening to the radio, and there's Saturday night weekly program just for kids with kids songs and music. Mm-hmm. Why not throw a cereal commercial in there?
Why not?
And they've been doing that ever since. So that's where it comes from. In 1932, after that commercial airs, they start putting Snap, Crackle, and Pop, the phrase, on the cereal box. And then finally, in 1933, that's when we start getting characters, right? Mm-hmm. So the guy that drew the first one, his name was Vernon Grant, and he was an illustrator. And he comes up with this idea of a gnome, basically. So he has a little gnome with a baker's hat, and they called him Snap. And he put him on the box.
Ah.
And by the end of the 30s, so about 10 years, there's 3 characters, the ones we know, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Mm-hmm. He brought the idea to Kellogg's. It wasn't something where they hired somebody and said, hey, here's our idea. He was a fan, I guess, a fanboy of the Rice Krispies.
Weird.
And was like, I have an idea. This is what I came up with. And they're like, cool, we like it. We own it. You're hired. Yeah. So he worked with them for, I guess, until he was not doing that sort of stuff anymore.
Good on him.
But it wasn't like a marketing company or like we see it nowadays.
Right. Their marketing company came up with this idea for them or whatever. That wasn't the case.
Right.
Weird. Okay.
So the other thing that was interesting was because he was an illustrator, he illustrated a lot of like children's books and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. They put stories on the back of boxes, short stories, poems. You could either order or like kind of like they do with box tops. They used to do now, now it's like codes like we were talking about before, but used to cut them off and send them in. You could mail into Kellogg's and they would send you like full books featuring these characters for kids to read or whatnot. And they were like super popular. So they started making like tons of merchandise with these characters on it, these gnomes for Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And they had all these adventures, and there was other stories too. So other cereal boxes kind of got in on that. And that's really the first place where cereal giveaways starts. So like as a kid, you and me as a kid in the 80s, you might eat like a bowl, and then you put your hand in the box until you can feel that toy or whatever's in there. And then it was hardly worth eating the cereal after that. But I did that with C-3POs, I remember specifically for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
So in the 40s, they put a new strategy on there that kind of joined the war effort. And it says they're urging folks to save time, energy, and fuel. Those are things that were rationed, right?
Okay.
And so they say, well, eating this cereal in the morning will actually give you these things. It's fast, it's quick, it's easy.
Oh.
It gives you energy. You'll have fuel to get through the day. So they kind of flipped the rations on its head, and that's their slogan.
I understand.
In 1949, the design of the gnomes changed, and they start to look more like elves. And they also look more like children. Before that, they looked like grown-ups with a beard, and
Oh.
So then in 1949, they switch it, and they look kind of like they do now. So that's where the origin of what we come to know as the snack, crackle, and pop dudes get their look.
Okay.
1950s, they add one. This was something I found on like Mental Floss,
Oh, no.
that website or whatever.
This is not going to be good.
But it didn't last long for a reason. His
Sure.
name was Pow. Snap, crackle, pop, Pow.
Pow.
Pow for short for energy, power.
Oh, okay. I can't imagine. Okay, that's okay.
And it was because it was so good for you. So they were trying to show it was very nutritional, because in the 50s,
Sure.
nutrition was a big thing. Yeah. And he was an astronaut. Also a big thing in the 50s, because we got the kind of the
Oh, sure.
beginning of the space race. There's shows on TV.
Right.
We started to figure out maybe we could get to the moon, that sort of stuff.
Sure.
So
We're sending monkeys into orbit.
Yeah.
The Russians actually sent somebody into orbit.
yes,
Right.
all that stuff
Yep,
is going
yep.
on. So it's very topical at the time.
Okay.
So he's there for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then he kind of disappears. And then there's no more Pow. So then it's,
Rest
back
in
to the
peace,
3.
Pal.
Sorry for that. But, he was there for a short time. Then in 51, Kellogg's Rice Krispies puts color on the box. Because right before that, it was like very monotone or two color chrome style of printing. So a lot of gray and white, that sort of thing, washed out almost.
Okay.
They put 4 colors on. So they do the 4 color print.
Yep.
And they're the first one to do that. And then that's all there is now. Now there's like 1,000 colors on cereal boxes,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
As that's what we're used to. But before that, it looked very much like a cornflakes box. So even that, there's like a little yellow and a green and red and white on the cornflakes.
And
That was not the way it was
right.
before.
So it looked like a box of like detergent or something.
Yeah.
Like it was very
It was boring, and there wasn't a lot of competition. So they did it almost like beer.
Yeah.
To grab your eye on the shelf space, like they didn't have to do that because there was like 5 choices, right?
Yeah.
And then when they started to expand and all that stuff, then it became about graphics and colors and designs
Like,
and
whoa, color
what-
TV.
What can you buy in the what comes free with the box of cereal or whatever?
Yep.
So it came like what we know it as now, but that all originated 70 years ago with Rice Krispies.
Wow.
Snap. What's he look like? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you which one was which.
Well,
quite
I'm going to
honestly.
give you a little thing to help remember, and you'll probably think of it right now.
Okay.
He's got red hair, a red
Okay.
bandana, and the chef's hat.
Okay.
So he's the original. He's the OG.
Okay.
He's the one that was the first gnome, and they turned him into this guy. Crackle's got the blue shirt and like a sleeping cap. So think like Dickens'
Yeah.
Christmas Story sleeping cap.
Okay.
He has that. And then Pop, he's the guy wearing the drum major's hat.
Oh, okay.
That's
and
how
he
you-
wears green, right? Isn't
I
he
think
green?
so. Or a white striped outfit or something,
Okay.
but that's how you know him. He's got the hat.
Drum
so they're all
major.
wearing different hats.
Weird.
Or things or whatever, but that's how you know him.
Okay.
In Danish, the saying is piff, paff, puff. In French, it's crick, crack, crock. In German, this is going to be good.
Oh, yes.
I don't know that this is real because I feel like these words are so different.
I believe that it's real.
Knisper, knasper. That's German for snap, crackle, pop.
You didn't
allegedly.
say it near angry enough. You need to say it angrier.
Knasper. It does sound angry.
It does kind of sound angry. It sounded like you were trying to you were trying to transmit something over a radio there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got the pop guards on, which is good, but I was
Yes.
still trying to not blow out Dolan's ears.
you could
on
move.
those.
Yeah, you could move it out of the way for a second.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of information. They've been around ever since. They've changed their design, just like other cereals we've talked about and stuff, but they have been around as like cereal mascots. They're some of the first ones ever. Some of the first mascots really ever.
I mean, they're very recognizable. Like
Yes.
if you were to like say you're on a game show or something and they put it up there, you would say Rice Krispies. That's Snap Crackle Pop.
Yeah.
Like who that is.
Yep.
So we had I mean, this relative to nothing except for recognizable. We've been talking to different banks here, and one of the banks we talked to was Capital One. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Like
Yeah.
the first thing that pops in my head is
Slogan, yeah.
what's in your wallet, right? I mean, they did a very good job with selling that slogan.
Yeah.
Rice
Jennifer-
Krispies has done a really good job, and maybe it's just because it's longevity, but Snap Crackle Pop, like that's like part of like American culture now.
It's definitely pop culture. I was still stuck on thinking about Jennifer Garner, so sorry for that. But
I asked if we got Jennifer Garner, and they said no.
next,
We said nope. Sorry, next.
that's a no-go for us.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so what do we think of this beer now that has warmed up a little bit? It's very sweet for me.
I intentionally tried to warm it up like a stout. I don't know if
Yeah.
you noticed. I was trying
Yeah,
to warm
you
it up.
cupped it.
I like it colder. It still tastes the same though. Like the flavor profile didn't change at all for me.
I think the sweet gets to me more as it warms up.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the ABV on this, Dolan?
6.7.
7, I think
Seven?
I wrote down.
Wow,
My
so
research.
we're in
Yeah,
IPA
6, 7.
territory.
Yeah, we're in IPA.
Well, they're a very IPA heavy
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
brewery.
IPA and stout. That's
Yes.
pretty much what they make. It
Yep.
look like.
Yeah.
But they have different series. They have multiple series running at the same time, and seasonals and all sorts of different things. So they're making a lot of stuff there.
So on the can it says 6.5.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. So I did my research on those guys, right? Like I always would, or whatever. So, and interesting. We've talked about. I mean, because there have been some high profile fights in the brewing industry recently with names and whatever,
Sure.
or whatever. So originally founded in 2014 by Ari Megalis, Megalis, Megalis. Paul Megalis, his brother, longtime friend Adam. I don't even want to try his Cieslek.
Cieslek. Okay.
Sure. And then a guy named Kevin Hall. So Kevin, he wasn't mentioned in the articles, but he shows up as one of the co-founders on the website. Maybe he's a money guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, they originally were started in 2014 as Mercenary Brewing Company.
Oh, okay.
And they had been home brewing under the name Mercenary for a number of years, since 2007. So then they opened their location, Mercenary Brewing Company, print labels, and our friends in Colorado at Odell,
Yeah. Said, hey, hold up.
said, no, we've had a beer called Mercenary for years, and so they filed a cease and desist. But it wasn't like super contentious or whatever. They're like, okay, fine, let us run through the labels that we've got, and then we'll change our name.
Yeah.
And Odell said, okay, that's fine. So it was kind of cool. I mean, it wasn't cool that, I guess Odell was just trying to
They got to
protect
protect their name. Yeah.
right or whatever, and it wasn't like they're Odell-ish, or whatever. They just named themselves after one of Odell's like flagship IPAs, so that had been around for a while. But at least Odell was cool enough to say, okay, that's fine. You're a startup or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's usually not the way it works.
No, not at all. So then they changed their name. The location that you went to, Dolan, in Maplewood, is the same location. It is the former village of Maplewood that was burned in the Chicago fire,
Oh, okay.
and so that's where they got their name from. Now, not only are they on Maplewood Avenue, but Maplewood, the village of Maplewood, which was outside of Chicago at the time in the 1800s of the Chicago fire, was actually burned in the Chicago
So it's
fire.
like some history.
Wow.
Right.
That's cool.
So they used that history to name their brewery. So they to honor that kind of that village and where they are right now, which is now I wrote it down, Logan Square.
Yep.
So I went and looked it up, like where's Logan Square or whatever. So former village that was burned only 15 minutes from Wrigley, which is still kind of which is only 10 minutes from downtown.
Okay.
So I mean, the Chicago fire was enormous, if that's the case. I mean that's huge.
Yeah.
And so in order to honor that heritage and honor that where they are, they changed the name to Maplewood. Honestly, I think it probably serves them better. This is way more a Maplewood beer than a mercenary beer.
I like place names for breweries, you know, because it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, that's in wherever, Chicago, you know what I mean? So if it's named after something that is a place, I like that. It's just easier for people to know where they're at.
Right.
So makes sense to me.
What's interesting too is and maybe that's where this Kevin Knoll guy, or Kevin Holl, I'm sorry, Holl,
Holl.
Holl.
Okay.
Maybe that's where he comes in if he's on the distillery side.
Oh, maybe.
Because
yeah.
there were multiple articles about the beer side. They were just about Maplewood Brewing that didn't include this guy. But then if you go to the website, like I said, he's on there. So maybe that's part of it. Their new tap room that they just opened a couple of years ago, which is probably where you went, includes like all kinds of craft cocktails from their distillery side. Here's what I thought was interesting. They have distribution in Michigan, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Indiana makes sense. Wisconsin, fine.
Sure.
Missouri, weird.
Wow.
Okay,
I guess maybe because of St. Louis and
maybe.
right on the edge of Illinois.
And Kansas.
What are we doing here?
That's the one that blew me away.
Kansas.
Was distribution in Kansas. So not Iowa.
Maybe Kansas City, Kansas.
Maybe.
I'm guessing they don't got it in Topeka.
I mean,
there's only one way to know.
kind of makes me want to go there and find out if I could get more of this beer in particular.
Yeah.
And I like Juice Pants a lot.
Yeah.
I think Juice Pants is probably one of the better Midwest IPAs that are out there right now. And Son of Juice, which I can see sitting right across from me right there.
Yeah, that's mine.
That says Brian Peterson on it that I hope that we open at some point. Maybe during or after. I don't know.
You got one too in the back fridge.
Yeah,
there.
you're right.
Yeah,
I
but that's
have one
way
too.
back there.
It is a long ways back there. Again, very, very good IPAs, especially, and not that the Midwest is void of good IPAs, but there's some good breweries here making really good IPAs, and I think Juice Pants and Son of Juice are probably two of the better ones that we can get. That's that's not necessarily through distribution, but hey, are you going to Chicago? Could you pick this up for me? Kind of thing.
Yeah, they're one of those places that if you know somebody that's going there, you're like, hey, hey Dolan, bring me back some.
I'll take some Revolution, and I'll take some Juice Pants.
There you go. They actually they serve craft water there too.
Oh,
like hop water.
Like
Cross-Train had that.
Like I don't even know. Like expensive carbonated, but like naturally carbonated.
Yeah.
Waters. Yeah. Sam wasn't really feeling it because we had just been to Revolution and we had just drank at some other place and tried some other things. And so we got to Maplewood, and she's not a huge IPA person. And she wasn't feeling any stouts. And then she got to looking at the cocktails and stuff, and she's a very, she likes her cocktails, but I think she was just feeling a little too there to have one.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So she asked for some water, and they said, well, what kind? Because this is what we have.
Like tap water?
Are you talking like craft seltzers? Are they doing those?
No.
It's more just like a non-carbonated water-ish.
No, it's just fancy water. Like it came in a bottle, and it was carbonated, and it was, it almost tasted kind of salty, I guess.
City slickers,
Rocky,
man.
minerally.
See, that's Chicago,
That's big
though.
timing.
Do you want tap water, or do you want the fancy French water that comes in the bottle that costs $10?
Well, and they gave it to her for free. So,
Nice.
yeah, they were just, they were awesome people. Like, going in there, okay, first off, the atmosphere was awesome. It was dark when we went in there, but they had, like, black lights and neon lights everywhere. So that was kind of the vibe you got going in.
Cool.
And then I said, they had they were doing really well with the social distancing thing. They had all their drinks all set up. Their bathrooms were cool.
Okay.
That's kind of a weird thing, but like I went in there, it was like a palm tree, well, not like a palm tree, but what's the shorter one called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Looks like a palm tree, but like obviously not 30 feet tall or whatever. But yeah, that was in there, and they had all the neon lights in there and stuff. And they were really, really, really nice. They were asking us kind of like, what we're doing, got really friendly. They gave me a free 4-pack of Son of Juice because they didn't have any in the cooler.
Yeah.
And I bought a growler of it so I could bring it back for everybody to try here. And I ended up spending, the growler's like really fancy.
The growler's super fancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna use it for camping to like
nice.
bring milk.
Is it stainless steel and stuff?
Yeah, stainless
those are
steel.
nice.
It's got the plug on it. And yeah, and
He's being modest. He actually said, I'm a super high-profile producer of a beer podcast.
Oh, really? Toot, my own horn.
Absolutely. And they said, sir, let me get you some free beer.
The Dolan?
I may have told them what I'm gonna use their beer for, and
that's
they may
all
have
right.
given me an email to send this episode to. But
Right on.
I can't remember his name, and I apologize when you're listening to it. It's Matt or Michael.
I mean, you were at some breweries that day, man.
True.
He just got a new tattoo he was all excited about. And yeah, so if you're listening to this, leave a comment below because you made my night, sir. You made my night.
Very
There you
nice.
go.
Can't say that about the Revolution guys, right? But Maplewood guys did.
That's right.
Kick ass.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got any more information that you want to go through?
That is what I got on these guys.
I
so-
have one more thing. This is short.
Okay.
I got this information from the NCA, which is the National Confectioners Association.
They have an association.
Of course they do. Everyone has an
I guess.
association.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about marshmallows because that's in this brew.
Yeah.
2000 BC is about the first time they figured out marshmallows were around. The ancient Egyptians,
2000 BC.
the Egyptians were using it for special occasions. It was reserved for the holy man or person of the area, and then also royalty. So that's who could get it. It comes from the mallow plant. And guess where those grow?
Where?
In the marsh. So that's why it's called marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Yes. So
That's convenient.
they would cut it and then like squeeze the juice out. It was almost like sap. And then they added it with honey, and then they put some nuts in it. So more almost like a granola bar.
Okay.
And that's what they technically call marshmallow.
Weird.
It's native to Egypt, so northern Africa, Europe, Asia, and then it was brought here and naturalized in the United States. So it grows here now, but because somebody put it there. The French introduced it in the 1800s. They would take that same concoction, but they would hand whip it to get to that consistency that we know as, and sometimes the color. So it gets that white, like you can buy it in a jar, sort of like marshmallow fluff sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was super popular, like kind of like when we talked about chocolate a long time ago, how that was like they had chocolatiers everywhere, and that was a huge thing. Well, so is this stuff. So they couldn't keep up with the supply because it was like so labor intensive. They had to do it by hand,
And it was delicious.
and it was super good. So people
Yeah.
were buying it. So they figured out a way to use like these molds, and then they got rid of the mallow plant part, and they basically used some like gelatin instead. So it's already like less natural and more artificial right there.
Okay.
So they can make it faster. They can just drop it in these molds, and they get the shape that they want, and there you go.
Marshmallow shape.
Yeah. And then in the 1900s, early 1900s, it hits the United States, mostly for that same sort of like specialty thing. In 1948, this guy named Alex Dumas created and then patented this process to make it like basically an assembly line. So he figures out a way to take these ingredients and run them through these like pipes, basically, and they come out, and they're made, and then they're just cut into shapes, and every cut is the same, so it's like industrialized,
Right.
And that's how we get our shaped marshmallows. So they all look the same for the most part.
I'll tell you, if you've never like sad, like depressed ate marshmallow fluff just like right out of the thing, like you haven't been alive, like you've never been broken up with or something, right? I mean,
That's the go-to there.
right.
I mean, speaking of the marshmallow fluff, right? In Chicago, we ate breakfast at the Nutella place.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you guys have ever had fluffernutters,
Oh, yeah.
but
I've had the beer fluffer
Yeah.
nutter, but
no.
Yeah,
fluff,
the beer for sure.
marshmallow fluff on toast. on one side,
Yeah.
and then Nutella on the other side.
Oh,
There you go.
really?
So good.
That's the flavor profile of the Fluff
So
and Nutter.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes so much more sense now.
In the 50s, marshmallows explode in popularity in the United States
Okay.
for some reason. Mostly because you can get them anywhere now. You can buy them at the grocery store, right?
Okay.
And they're added to tons of recipes. So if you ever see any like old vintage cookbooks or anything, you see a lot of salads, especially like your grandma made salads that
yeah.
had marshmallows in them.
Yep.
Jello salads, like whatever. Everything had marshmallows.
What's the salad with the marshmallows and the strawberries together? What's
Yep.
that called?
I don't know, but it's
The
I know
fluffy pink stuff.
No,
Pink
no.
fluff.
No, with the like lettuce.
like
it's
like
Waldorf.
Oh.
Waldorf
It's not Waldorf
salad. Yeah.
with the nuts in it.
Yeah, and carrots
Weird.
strips or something.
So weird.
I thought you meant like the pink fluff or
Oh no, that's
or
just
the
called
green,
pink fluff,
the-
right?
Yeah.
the pistachio pudding with the marshmallows or whatever.
Those are all the 50s, like, you know, coming back from wartime,
Right.
gelatin, basically, recipes. But
Gran-
that's,
every grandma made that.
yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had to. Otherwise, you're kicked out of being a grandma.
Yes.
And then now we are
True.
the number one consumer of marshmallows in the entire world, the United States.
Well, we're fat, so
yeah, I believe
And
it.
we like marshmallows. 90 million pounds a year.
and they weigh nothing.
And they weigh nothing. So that's
Oh
a
my God.
shit ton of marshmallows.
Yeah.
And the majority are sold between October and December. So I assume for hot chocolate, maybe
Oh,
at this
sure.
point now. We just got a bag the other day for that reason.
Well,
so
and then you got a little fire going. You want to
Yep.
make some s'mores.
Some s'mores.
I was gonna say maybe I was thinking maybe more during camping season, like the late summer, early fall.
yeah, maybe also for some, I don't know, some other holiday recipes or
Yeah.
something. But
Oh, with the not that I like this at all, but the what's the
And you're talking about yams, with
yes,
marshmallows.
gross, so gross, and you put them on top.
yeah,
Yuck.
Gross.
Thanksgiving would be right in the middle of that.
Disgusting.
So yeah, but that's what I got for us, and that's definitely what I tasted and smelled in that beer
Oh, there's definitely marshmallow in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
for sure.
Yeah. A little bit more in here. Whoever wants to claim it.
That's you.
Not me. I got a can at home.
That's me.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not going to fight over it. You want to split that up? That's fine with me.
Oh, there's just a
All right, you
Drop.
go for it. You go for it. All right, Untapped. Friend of the show, Daniel Chavez, has already ranked this one, which is interesting because he just had it back in August.
yeah. Where's he getting it?
That's a good question. I mean, he's in Chicago. I don't know.
That's well, I guess it's easier then.
5,028 check-ins. Where do you think we land?
Well, if I were to rate it, it'd be about probably. Well, I am gonna rate it,
I was gonna
Sure.
say,
and
right?
I'm gonna rate it a 4.25.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a 3.79.
So 379. You're 425.
I'm gonna go 4.
4.
I'm gonna think it's 4 on there, but I'm rating 4.25.
You're close. It's 391. So
Not bad.
I have never had anything like this before.
Yeah.
I'm sad there's only one can. It's going to be hard not to give it a 5. And
Whoa.
I don't
Yeah.
give out 5s very often.
No, you don't.
know.
Wow. And that's not even a sour or an IPA.
Right. But it's just so
Different.
Just dramatically
different.
different.
I mean, you're not
Yeah.
getting anything like that around here.
No.
I've never seen it or tasted anything like
No.
that before. It tastes like a Rice Krispies treat.
It really does. It's like it feels like I'm a kid again, and I'm going through my Halloween candy, and you have those little mini Rice Krispie bars, and
Yeah.
you eat like 10 of them.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
I remember when Rice Krispies Treats cereal came out in the 80s. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
And you'd almost break the bowl shaking it out because it was just like someone took Rice Krispie bars and
chunks.
just smashed them with a hammer
Yep.
and then threw it in your cereal bowl. And it was so good. Oh, it had to be like the most unhealthy cereal in the world, but man, it was good.
Really easy snack to make on your own. We have a daily out about it. You can go back a couple weeks.
To make Rice Krispie Treats?
Yeah. Probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did a daily, and just making Rice Krispie for around Halloween, and
You know, if you added a little chocolate to this,
ooh,
that'd be that would be good.
it'd be really
Man.
good. So yeah, Eric,
Yeah.
general manager, is he one of the people that were listed?
No,
Okay, so
Ari, Paul, Adam, Kevin.
okay, I have an Eric who is the general manager
Oh.
of the place.
Oh, you have his business card.
Business card.
Yep,
Look
I
at
found
Nolan
I
with
found
the
it in my
business
wallet
card.
because I wanted to. I feel bad forgetting the guy's name, Matt or Michael.
Yeah.
But
He didn't have a card.
he didn't have a card.
See, there you go.
Yeah, the general manager gave me his card to send this episode to.
Business cards are cheap. Just even now, just buy them.
Yeah, they have a cool business card though. It's pretty sweet.
It looks just
like I
the
said,
can logo.
That doesn't. They don't look like a mercenary brewing company. They look like a Maplewood Brewing Company.
It was a good move.
Yeah. So, whew, Dolan, this one was good. Maybe you should go back to Chicago and find more beers for us.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, can I use the company card?
No.
Is that allowed?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
But good try.
Maybe next year.
Speaking of company card, next week, not purchased on the company card, but recruiter Ronnie Robinette and her husband Michael were at a brewery over just a couple weekends back. And they sent me a picture because they know I like this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I could see the menu board in the back.
Yeah.
And there was a beer on there that was an 18%er.
Oh,
boy.
And I said, what is that? And they said, we're scared of that.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not. Mail me a 4-pack. Next week, we're going to drink that beer.
Oh boy.
Highest ABV we've ever had.
18%.
Probably the highest we're gonna have.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
think many people make more than that.
This thing's a monster.
That might be the highest I've ever had.
Barrel aged 2 years. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tune in next week for it's going to be chaos.
Oh, that's a great tease.
You like that?
We're going from crispy to chaos. Got it.
All right. So we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.